and a basic lack of a coordination strategy that is largely based on exercises in transferring strategies from other regions and other kinds of disasters. And that this is a very particular problem to Haiti. And the kind of alchemy of that has to be addressed very, very individually.
$11 billion promised.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it?
Well, I don't think about $11 billion. I don't believe in $11 billion. I think that pledge money is smoke and mirrors that evaporates as the years go on. The way it's going to happen is if bold organizations come in here, create manufacturing. I'd like to see them start as co-ops with philanthropic commitment to that for a period of time with a kind of sunset, where then they can participate in the profit. But right now, the donors conference, I think, was completely misconceived. And the way that it should have been done is somebody should have raised their hand and said, I'm going to rebuild every school in Haiti. And somebody else should have raised their hand and said, I'll rebuild the hospitals, and we're going to do it right now. And one of the things and instead, what happened is one after another in Port-au-Prince, the biggest city and the biggest natural disaster in human history, systematically hospitals closed following the earthquake because money was not available and not coming in to those hospitals. The money exists and existed. And I think the culture of aid is so paranoid about the siphoning of aid and a history related to other administrations and other times and places that while those kinds of concerns are responsible considerations, they have, I think, largely crippled a lot of the motion here.
Two-time Oscar-winning actor Sean Penn. He now manages a tent camp that houses 55,000 Haitians displaced by the earthquake. He manages it on the Petionville golf course in Port-au-Prince, in Petionville, a suburb of Port-au-Prince. When we come back, I ask Sean Penn why he turned to Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez over President Obama, and we talk about other issues. This is our exclusive hour with Sean Penn. Stay with us.
Pour carnaval nous beaucoup assasiés. Mais mercredi les sons bien pour river. Nous prend patrouille, nous passer dans papier. Nous vendons pays pour belle caille l'autre côté. Pour moi nous pas même madicat mal masqué. Nous et Punta de Vent dans le défilé. Port-au-Prince à la côte entendez. Mardi Gras marché dans Chablindé. Avec musical. Mardi Gras m'ba bossé mon mouillé. Mardi Gras m'ba bossé mon mouillé.
Mano Charlemagne performing at the Tap Tap in Miami, a restaurant there. It's owned by the filmmaker K.K. Kane. Well, we filmed that when we headed down to Haiti just after the earthquake. Now it's 6 months later. We've just returned from Haiti again. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. As we return to the interview with the two-time Academy Award-winning actor and director Sean Penn, sitting in his tent as he manages a tent camp in Petionville, in Haiti, that has more than 55,000 Haitian refugees.
Very good people who, all over the United States, said, what can we do? At least we can give money. Where has that money gone?
Well, this is a very interesting dynamic. In talking about other NGOs, particularly major NGOs like the American Red Cross, I've spoken to the leadership of the American Red Cross on many, many occasions. I've had conflict with them. I've had partnership with them. They're moving a big mountain in the Red Cross. I think the initial problem, and I've spoken to them about it, is in the what we call here animation, the communication to their donors, has left out something, which is that the American Red Cross has not been in the medical business for 50 years. And that's not what they do. So, for example, you have an organization which is a kind of I don't think it's defamatory to say, a kind of historically parasitic organization like WFP, which had started as an underling organization to another that
WFP
World Food Program, where one sense I think in the public consciousness is that they self-fund. Well, nobody can say that the American Red Cross didn't act swiftly. They funded $111 million of all that first food that came in on the C-130s, and that was necessary food at that time and in that way. But while that was happening and those dollars were being spent, and in the imaginations of their donors, largely, there were doctors going out into camps and taking care of people and bringing in the primary medicines necessary for that, and then offering, to come in and feel good for organizations that do that, to come in and feel good about doing a big dramatic surgery, and to not follow through on the follow-up care is not to do the surgery. It's just to extend the torture, to create the infections that we then in this clinic deal with down the line. And that's something that's not so much to be blamed on anything but communication, which is that the donors need to know that this job is not done. The organizations, I believe very strongly, are getting on their feet here. It's been a complicated problem. We can, I have been and I'll continue to be a finger pointer when it's absolutely necessary. But right now, there's so much possibility for forward motion here that when I look at, for example, the American Red Cross, I know in my personal experience that their direct action has accelerated enormously in the last month alone. And so, I'll come back to you if that doesn't come to fruition. But we have had a very good partner in them.
We, last night at this time, were at Karai, the camp where thousands of people came from here.
Yeah.
Many of them are not very happy. Here they are in this land near Titayen, where bodies were dropped in previous times, like during the coup period. It's very flat. It's when the sun comes down, it just bakes them on these white stones. The beds are like a 1/4-inch padding, and the stones rip their backs. They don't have electricity. They don't have flashlights. What happened there?
Well, there's two answers to that. Because I, as much as anybody, am responsible for having moved the 1,200 families or 5,000 persons from this location to Karai. We were designated as the most dangerous topographic camp in the city for flood and mudslide, which was the first designation for emergency relocations. So what we did is we were given a clear assistance package, not to encourage per se, but to offer. And what I'll say to this day is that as a father of two, and it's not for me as an American father to make this determination for a Haitian mother or father, but I can say that the perspective I'll offer comes from this. Today, if I had a choice of my children living here or Karai, there's no question but they'd be living in Karai. I can take one match and light 110 on fire in this camp here, and the whole thing goes. They're all connected tents. It's over-compressed. If disease spreads, it's going to spread tent to tent. They share walls. It's in the middle of a city that's prone to potential social uprising. It's only increasing that we're able to build security corps in this camp here. It's a spontaneous camp. It's an ad hoc camp. It's a dangerous place. And this is now one of the least dangerous among the dangerous places. And we haven't had quite the level of gang problems. We have rapes every week. We haven't had the level of rapes that are in so many of the camps. But there's a couple of things, which is where they have a legitimate gripe beyond the pre-existing one of poverty and no opportunity, no matter what will one has, to rise above it because of a lack of education provided. The promises made included a tent as a transition. So they were in those tents in transition, and that they would then be moved into temporary shelters in another sector at the same camp. Those were also the promises that we are still pushing to have go forward, and it's something that I want the media to look at every day, because these people were promised temporary shelters, and they should get them. Now, as far as the flat, gravelly, hot sun, I've been there many times. I was there in the sun and I was there in the rain, because we do want to extend a kind of follow-up consideration to those IDPs that we participated in the relocation of.